my name is Leilani, and in this video I'm going to share with you my pros and my cons when it comes to joining a homeschool co-op. I'm also going to explain what it is, and then I'm going to give you some personal insight so maybe it can help you decide if you want to do it or not. This is a collaboration with Anna over at Just Making It Work. They're a group of girls that are getting together to share their experience with homeschool co-ops, and if it works for them, doesn't work for them, etc, etc, etc. So make sure to check out that playlist in the description box below, but here are mine. So like I said, my name is Leilani. I am a former public and private school teacher in the state of Florida, and I do evaluations in the state of Florida for homeschoolers as well as testing. I am a homeschool mom of 4 wonderful kids, and I am part of a co-op, and I have been a part of multiple co-ops. So let's first define what a homeschool co-op is. So it's either one of 2 things most of the time. So the first one is a group of parents that get together and decide that they are going to work together cooperatively to teach their kids. So one parent might take science, another parent might take math, etc, 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 etc. Other possibility of a homeschool co-op is when the parents get together and say, hey, we're gonna hire some other people that may be experienced in some academic subjects and have them teach, maybe a mathematician teach math, or a veterinarian teach animal science, or etc, etc, etc. And we're gonna pay them because we're gonna bring our money together and pay them. So those are 2 possibilities of a homeschool co-op, and I've been a part of both. So let's start with the benefit number 1. Drawing from other parents or teachers' expertise. So let's say you're really bad at math. A lot of people are really bad at math. But there's a lot of people that are really good at math and actually enjoy teaching math. Well, how about you go find a parent that's actually really good at teaching that subject? But you're also really good at teaching English and writing, and you actually like that kind of stuff. You can kind of switch kids around, have that person that loves math teach math. You don't have to worry about math anymore. And then they can send your kid, their kid, to writing, and then they don't have to worry about writing anymore, and everybody's happy. And your child gets the opportunity to learn from someone different than you. That's another added benefit. Didn't count that as another one, but we're just gonna move to number 2. I'm gonna say the S word. I'm gonna say it, socialization. The reason we don't have bad social skills is because a lot of us join homeschool co-ops and park day groups, and we're involved with a lot of extra activities. We're not just loading them up in our homes and locking the doors. A lot of us are out there doing things. And a homeschool co-op is an opportunity for your kids to socialize, especially when they're needing to develop those social skills. Middle school. It's good to have some conflict with other people your age and then learn how to work those things out, learn what's appropriate to say in front of people, what's not appropriate to say in front of people, all those little social skills that are so super good to learn. They get to experience them in a homeschool co-op and deal with them in a safe environment. Also, on a positive note, friendships. You want to talk about best friendship opportunities? Well, co-ops provide that. Not just for your kids, but also for us parents. And yes, if your kids are watching, let me just explain. Your parents have friends too. Number 3. There are opportunities for you to share extra expenses on equipment and materials. Guys, do you know how much telescope costs? Or a microscope? Or some of those science experiments out there? PE equipment, projectors. Those things get kind of pricey. You want to talk about textbooks? Let's say that your friend has a 7th grader that just finished, and then you have an upcoming 7th grader. They can let you borrow that textbook, make life a little bit easier on you so you can maybe go out and buy some food instead of textbooks. I mean, in this day and age, that's a benefit. That's also a reality. Also, there's some crazy people that were ex-teachers that have a couple microscopes in their closet. Yeah, well, we can bring those to the homeschool co-op whenever there's a science experiment, and here you go. Let's get some pond water and let's see what's in that. Also, dissection equipment. Nobody really wants to buy that stuff and only use it once. But there are some of us that have, 10 kids. Now homeschool co-ops on the opposite end, and this is going to be my number one con, is that they can be a little bit expensive. Now, some of those homeschool co-ops that have teachers that are certified or expertise in their field, maybe it's a veterinarian teaching veterinarian science, they might be a little pricey. I've seen some co-ops be as high as $400 for the year, $500 for the year, somewhere around there, $350, you know, it gets expensive, but sometimes it's really, really worth it. Trust me. Another con, number two, since we're talking about cons, you might join a homeschool co-op and not get what you're expecting. Maybe you're expecting that your kids are going to go into a rigorous class only to find out that they're walking into a class where the teacher just pretty much socializes, and you never know what you're going to walk into unless you do your research. On the other hand too, you might find that a homeschool co-op may hold a different worldview. That one you can kind of work around just by doing research and asking a lot of questions and maybe writing out a list of what you think is important to you for a homeschool co-op, you know, worldview, laid back, intensive study, Charlotte Mason, or the style that you like, classical conversations, all those different things that are important to you and things that you want to avoid. And then make that phone call and talk to the person, and you can now avoid that con. Sometimes there are just subjects that are just better taught in a group setting. Let's be honest, anything having to do with music, like corporate music, probably is better in a corporate setting. Drama is something that is a homeschool co-op can be better for. Speech and debate, anything that requires an audience. Another great thing about homeschool co-ops is you can do book reports. There is a lot of rhetoric involved with homeschool co-ops. PE, team sports, those kind of things. Classes where, for example, I keep mentioning veterinarian science. My daughter wants to be a vet, for example. I don't know anything about I don't even have an animal, but this lady at the homeschool co-op is a veterinarian, and she likes to show up after work and teach a class about veterinarian science. So I'm gonna send my daughter to her and let her ask lots of questions with her. So that's another example. Engineering, STEM, coding, all these things are amazing when you have teachers that know what they're talking about and doing when you yourself don't. Plus, networking. Think about the networking advantages that you can have, especially with those high school students that need to get to know what to do, you know, to get into that job field. Yeah. All right, let's do one more con and one more benefit. So last con, it may cut into your day because you might have to drive down there, go to the homeschool co-op and drive back, and the rest of the day might be a wash. And let's say you only go to the homeschool co-op to do science and PE and some writing, but you don't do the math. After you get home, your kids aren't gonna wanna do math. And so you feel like you kind of lost out a little bit there. It might serve only a certain age of students. Maybe it's great for elementary school, but horrible for high school. But you have high school, middle, and elementary school in your family. So what do you do about the middle and high school, even though the elementary school is so great? It's kind of like you end up playing favorites, and the other ones are like envious of. It's just, that could be a messy situation. Once again, solve that problem, talk to people, and do your research. And my last benefit, which I hope this is a good one, and you still have to keep watching because I'm going to just review some things that you may want to ask. Again, if you didn't write them all down. Accountability. Yeah, so that's great too because you have other parents that can kind of help keep you on track and vice versa. And also gives you some confidence too, knowing that you are doing the right thing and that you are keeping them on track because, you know, we all know what happens. A lot of us will start thinking that we didn't do enough and we're insecure. Well, when you're in a homeschool co-op, you're like, wait a second, I did do enough because I got 12 other people that did the same thing as my kid and they're not feeling insecure about what they did. Someone amazing in their expertise taught your kids, you know, of course they learned what they needed to learn and they kept me on track. So when I started lagging, right, when things got low and I didn't feel like teaching anymore, they pushed me to keep going. Accountability. Accountability is huge with homeschool co-ops. So to wrap up the things that I think you should possibly ask a homeschool co-op before joining them is their worldview. Ask them what their worldview is. Ask them what their homeschool style is. Ask them what the ages of the kids are. Ask them about the parents. Are there any parents that are really good at teaching, really bad at teaching? Get a feel for going down to the co-op, walking the halls, asking lots of questions, asking around to see if there's any certified teachers. Ask them about some homeschool philosophies. Do they like public school and how public school is taught? Does that agree with your philosophy? Those kind of things. I think that kind of sums it up. You can write your own questions and take those questions that I just gave you and transform them into something that's more what you like. And don't just pick any homeschool co-op out there, just thinking that's just gonna be the one. Take some time to visit before you commit and pay, because sometimes you don't get your money back. Take it from one who knows. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out the playlist in the description box if you want some more ideas. And until then, I will see you in our next video. Bye. And don't forget to check out Anna's video, just making it work.